Today, as we stand here, we know that we are all at risk because we here today were all affected by the loss of someone who died from suicide. What we need to do is we need to wrap our arms around the illness, and by being here today, this is the start.
Laura, as you think about Erica, what does this walk mean to you today?
It means a chance to help people, a chance to bring awareness in her name and honor, and to carry on her legacy for people to remember and to remember everyone else.
And so these are various mothers and supporters of mothers?
Mothers, fathers, friends, cousins, aunts, uncles.
And what will be the significance as the walk goes around the lake?
I think to remember that our children and loved ones existed and that they made a choice, and that there is depression and anxiety, and to bring awareness and remembrance.
I am a commitment to action in the face of neutrality. I am out of the darkness. I am into the light.
What does it mean, out of the darkness?
It's a metaphor for people that are struggling with depression or mental illnesses or anything like that might feel like there's no hope. And we want to just bring the hope out of the darkness. We want to bring the issue of suicide awareness out of the darkness, try to erase the stigma, and allow for people to feel better about getting help.
What is the stigma of suicide?
Well, there's a lot of people that in the past maybe have looked down on people who have died by suicide, feel like it's their fault somehow, not realizing that a lot of it is actually caused or aided by a mental illness that can be treated. You know, people don't get upset with people who are sick from cancer. People have some issues with their brains or some mental illnesses as well that might lead to suicide, and they need to get help just as easily as someone with another illness would.
You know, one of the points of this documentary that stays with me, and there are many, but I think when I was growing up, you at least like to think that home is a refuge and that, you know, your bedroom is a happy, safe place. That is the place where so much of the bullying and the torment is happening for our young people. And of course, it's media related in most cases.
Well, you know, Moira, the home, we do know, is the #1 preferred place for a child to take their life. It's the #1 place where most kids lose their virginity. It's odd in a way.
Isn't that just?
And these mothers that we walked with, every one of them said they could not wait to participate in this documentary because they said, you've got to get this information out. You've got to tell other mothers. And every single one of them. And that's why when I think now that we have an entire bundle set that's available for the schools and the churches and for every home, I thank God. We went beyond just saying, tisk, tisk, that's bad. We said, we're going to go light some lights.
When we were new parents, we were encouraged to get down and to get in touch with the world where our little children were viewing it. We need to do this again, but we need to do it for our teens. It is a different world, and it is just plagued with assaults on healthy life for them.
Well, you know, we recently highlighted Canada Heart and Soul, which was 8 documentaries and the great faith stories. And then God moved on our hearts that this next series, we needed to create a number of documentaries around bullying, around the vanishing family, around how to communicate with your kids, these issues. And, you know, these are issues that are front and center. When I heard you last week talk about that 11-year-old in First Nations that took their life, you know, I don't ever get used to this because I know that, you know, apart from the grace of God, I would have never made it. And what I would have given as a teenager doing dope to have gotten a teen version of something like this, it would have almost, you know, changed me, hospitalized twice, my mother's ongoing alcoholism. We were a family in need. And that's why I want to reach out to all our constituents and say, you know, it's time for us to kind of think about others, and then God's going to use us to heal our own hearts.
I appreciated, too, so many practical alerts to watch for in our young people. There are signs that trouble is brewing, that someone is reaching a point of hopelessness. And maybe if some in your community, some of the adults, it sounded pretty unstable in your home, but
Right.
if some of the adults had known, maybe a teacher,
Right.
I see a change in Jerry. He's more isolated.
Sure.
There are signs of depression. We need to be alert to this.
We do indeed. And the fact of the matter, so often I ask the question, and tomorrow we'll listen to two mothers. I ask them, have you thought about taking your life after your child's? I know the answer always before I ask it. They all say yes. And that contagion factor is real. It overpronounces people's problems. You see, we all have challenges and we can navigate through them, and grace is sufficient no matter what the challenge is. But in this presentation, we are giving the factual information, and that's why Dr. Kuchar at Dalhousie and Dr. Crosby at the CDC, I love how we've taken the spiritual issue, but we've not ignored the practical mental health issues, and we put them together finally. And I want to just mention, we do have a bundle set that we want everyone to get as they make their gift to Crossroads. This is the book that we did.
The original.
And then there's the teen version. And then we have, in addition, the documentary. But I want to tell you on the inside, what makes this documentary click, in my opinion, is this curriculum.
Let's get talking about it.
And so for a minimum donation of $100 to Crossroads, we're going to ask all of our people to literally put this in every school in their community or the youth group of the church they attend. I don't know of any youth pastor that wouldn't say, thank you so much for doing that for us.
Maybe it's time to be your fall Bible study. Depression isn't isolated to teens.
That's right.
Suicide, the other largest group, is seniors. And we just all need to be informed. Thank you so much, Jerry, for all that you've brought. I hope you're ready to respond. And our pledge lines, 1-888-288-0003. This is a time when we just love to hear from you wherever you're watching today.